Hello everybody and welcome to the League of Europe. We are here today for round 2 season 11 of Division 3. Joined once again by Verstappen.
Hello everyone, indeed welcome here to the Division 3 stream, and in for a very exciting race.
Yeah, Silverstone, always an amazing track for racing, home to some very famous corners. The country that's home to some very famous teams. Oh, and drivers actually, of course. Be a bit tricky to not mention the Hamilton news at some point today. So let's get that out of the way. Hamilton to Ferrari, woo. Some people like it, some people don't. On to qualifying.
Indeed, and just gonna have a quick look. There's been some stewards' decisions. Division 3 having the only one to have actually any reports. Which demoted MCR down to 5th, for example, after getting a podium, but he had an illegal pit entry, so Eagles Mats instead got the podium there, and a few minor shuffles around in the mid-pack as well, but nothing too important, as we're here for 20 drivers, bit of a long wait, so no one just yet out on track.
As a McLaren... I think I saw McLaren movement, but James Head will be the first one out on track. Something I did notice, last week's reports, there were 7 reports across all 3 tiers. All 7 reports were in Division 3, and all 7 reports were shared between 3 different drivers alone. Which, to be fair to those drivers, all of them had at least one report that received a penalty. I think 5 out of 7 reports were penalised in some way, shape or form. But yeah, 16 drivers got points from the first race because our pole sitter was the first driver to DNF. But he still got that 1 bonus point for that race. But Cam K is the man leading the championship. The American driver who... Is he here today? Yeah, there he is, down in the Red Bull P18 currently. See, he just dominated last race, didn't he?
Yeah, he was just that little bit of a step ahead of everyone else, which just showed it was in just about dominant fashion to win it. I wouldn't say he was running away with everything, but he was definitely the quickest and the most consistent across the race, and ultimately, even with all safety cars and all strategy in due, that got him the race win, and I think he's looking to repeat that today.
Yeah, well, another thing we saw, his setup was so different from the rest of the field. He chose a really low downforce setup, and you could see every lap the fluctuation when they're on that first sector, that twisty section of Jeddah, just losing time to everyone else, and then you get to the back, straights and whatever, and he just pulls away the gap, made him very tricky to overtake, and all in all it worked well for him, as here we go, Ibo, first man to be starting a lap here today at Silverstone. Guide us around, set a benchmark for the rest of the drivers that Javi's not going to beat if he sticks on those intermediates.
I'm not quite sure what he's up to, but I'll look at Ibo as he's going through the loop, just accelerating out of there into Aintree. I do actually know most of the corner names here, so let's see if I can remember them all on this lap as he heads down to sector 1 split into Brooklands. Bit wide there, and just gonna take Luffield in as well here, so he's not one of the quickest drivers, but he's always here, and it's always good to see Ibo around this track as he heads through Woodcut, some Grand Prix as well, and I think there'll be a bunch of drivers that have the same as him. Heading into Corps, not quite flat for him, but we might see other drivers doing that. Now down towards the famous Maggott and Beckett section here, flat for the first part, nicely done. Heading down the left-hander and into Chapel. And DRS open once again. Here we'll see quite a few overtakes, 105 flat right now. Just to see if other people can improve on that as he heads down towards Stowe. Breaking around to 50 meter boards, 5th gear. Heading around down towards the final chicane here at Hill. Making sure you get your braking right, and if we just does that. Coming through the club corner here. And across the line for the Alfa Romeo, 29 flat. We'll see some improvements, I think, as his teammate, I think, is the next one on a lap.
Yeah, I believe it'll be his teammate or James Head. Actually, you're right, it is his teammate next man, so ultimate muster. Let's see what he can do. He is faster, he's half a second faster. Currently, the Alfa Romeo is doing a good job of laying the groundwork. Actually, as you mentioned, the Silverstone corner names, it just so happens that my mouse map on my computer is a Silverstone track map with all the corner names. So I've got a very easy reference there as Q going fastest 27.5. Now that is a bit of a jump ahead of anybody else, although Flip himself a full second ahead. What is going on? Flip, one of the drivers...
Another half second. There we go for Ryan P. 26.1. I think the first laps just weren't fully on the pace. But yeah, big jumps already there. And I think we should see a pole within the 25s. Obviously, there won't be...
Matt's slotting right in amongst the rest of them.
And one of the Haas drivers as well coming around, so I'm not quite sure.
Swip and Stephen both invalidated there, so it'll be Axel, next driver to the line. Slightly off the pace, but not too badly. A 26.7 for the... Where's he from? Axel, the Greek driver.
Yes, the Greek driver.
Bosnia
put it on pole, and we don't have to guess where he's from. But yeah, good lap there. Obviously, it's a track where the skill gaps are pretty small all round, so I think we should see a pretty tight race, and definitely also qualifying. I think will be very close together all round.
Yeah, well, so far, what are we looking at? I think we can say the top. There we go, James P4.
Yeah.
What is it? What, top 5 drivers, top 7 drivers with decent times so far. Of course, still 11 minutes left of the session. So plenty of time to improve, and of course sometimes it's just nice to get that lap down on the ground so you've got something to work with. There we go. James has now done his out lap and in lap on the intermediate tyres. Oh, sorry, Jav,
yeah.
Jav. But
Looking at the Swip indeed. Yeah, he's on the lap. So 103.6 in the split time. Which I reckon will bring him maybe just about into 26s. We'll have to see. I think it'll be 27 looking at this. Yeah, 27.8 into P11. He'll be hoping for more competitive times later on in the session.
Falling a little down. We've got, I think, the two AlphaTauris ahead on an in-lap, so Slayer shall be the next man to the line here. Rounding through this final chicane. Good overtaking opportunity as Hamilton proved too much fighting. Someone else will take advantage, but what can Slayer do? He can do a 27.7 there, P11 at the current standings. Still plenty more in time for that to be improved. A lot of the drivers now coming into the pits after their first lap. I think MCR though soon to start his first lap of the session.
Yep, him and Major Falcon both. So two drivers I expect to be near the front. MCR the first one to start the lap here.
Yeah, another thing, we have not yet seen anything from Kamke. So last week's pole sitter Sui was a reserve, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's not here to take pole position again. He got quite unlucky in the race, actually, wasn't it? Him and Flip both qualified really well and then really struggled in the race. One of them DNF and the other one just seemed to keep tumbling down the order.
Yeah, Flip just ending 15th, I think, as well, with a fastest lap point, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So,
actually, yeah, James...
he's looking to better himself.
Just looked in the chat, James Head saying genuinely got so much more in the lap, and that's with the 26.4. Crack in the chat, fuming right now. Yeah, he was slightly too late, so they called in a reserve last minute, and then Crack was available to race, but the lobby was then full by that point. And basically, rules are rules, he wasn't able to race today, so very unfortunate for the usually McLaren driver. And also to answer the question of Darkfight earlier, yes, there is a Discord. I don't know if it's available in the channel's description, but certainly the website for LOE for League of Europe is available, and you will be able to find the Discord link through there if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think it's in the bios. We see MCR going to pole position at 26 flat. I'm just going to have a quick look what Major Falcon does as well. So he puts himself into P5 right ahead of his teammates. Best way to do it, if you're on X or Twitter, DMO's there. That's probably the easiest way to go. League of Europe F1, and you'll be able to find I'm pretty sure the link is in the description here. If not, put another message in the channel. Have you sorted out?
Yeah, as at the moment, I don't think any drivers currently setting a lap all on in laps or out laps. We will hop on board though with Camcake currently going very slow, nice and warming up his tyres, using that brake throttle thing, and he will soon show us how it is done. I cannot remember where he qualified last week, but I remember certainly his race pace was the more potent thing than his quali pace. But well, race is what matters, isn't it, in the end? You can qualify first all you like, but you don't want to be Charles Leclerc when it comes to the race.
Yeah, exactly. Usually on the good days he'll work himself out, but you don't want to do what he did to Paul Ricard in 2022.
It hurts me as a Ferrari fan. But here we go. Camp actually missing the apex slightly there, didn't he?
A little bit, I think. It's not the end of the world. It's all flat out for Abby and Farm, luckily in these cars. So see that? It's, here's for the loop there, just exiting, double upshifting. I don't think he meant to do that, but he went from third to fifth just in a split second. Let's see how it's going to be. 27.5 is a fairly solid first sector here. It's set as purple. I'm not sure. Could be. For left field, it's the Red Bull. Let's see if he's get a little bit of a slip potentially here from the Williams. Just about gets out of the way. He's not the ideal place to do it. It's flat out for Cops here. Ooh, just about goes off the throttle. Wasn't quite committed. Maybe first lap on. Kind of get it. Heading from Maggots to Beckett's now, down to 7th in the left, and into Chapel, into 6th. It's a solid lap, but then a bit of oversteer moment there on the exit. 102.9, this could still be a solid lap for the Red Bull, but there's more in it.
Yeah, following round through the final right-hander now. What can he do? Where is he going to end up? He won last week. He didn't get pole last week, but is he going to improve it this time around? Can he improve his qualifying to match the dominance he showed in the race? It doesn't look like he's to the front, but he is just behind his teammate provisionally on the second row for Camke. P4 with a 26.3. So here we go. Jav now setting 27.1. He has now set a time on a pair of soft tyres, as opposed to the inters that we saw from him earlier. Just two drivers yet to set a time. One of them here, Energetic 6 driver I don't recognise. Is he one of our three reserves of the day?
No, that's James. It's the first one to break the 25 barrier. 25.9. No, Energetic is a full-time driver for Ferrari. He just wasn't able to attend the first race.
Well, actually, he was initially due to be replaced today, and then last minute he could attend. So he was the guy who came back in when Crack was late. Yeah. But yeah.
Now, so his teammate just went into P6. I think we kind of missed or glossed over that. And Go 72 UK went into P10 as Energetics has fully just spun, gone around turn 3. And yeah, he's going to have to try again. Doesn't have that much time left, so he's going to have to hurry back to the pits and try and get a new set on. And the other driver not to set a lap yet is Steban, and I expect him to get towards the front as well.
Yeah, hello, Ibo's doing a little bit of a wiggle to warm up his tyres before he starts his lap. Is anyone coming towards the line to finish their lap though? That's what I'm looking for. Is an Alpine there? Is that Steven starting his lap? Do you know what? We'll follow Steven around, we'll see what he can do. The only driver yet to set a time on the board. They're both Ibo and Energetic yet to set more competitive times on the board. But I think any of the ones in the bottom 6 drivers still want to get onto the back of the field, because you have a look, the gaps between James Head right the way down to Ghost Recon, you've only really got a tenth or two between each of the drivers. Some of those gaps so close. P6 to P8, currently 9 thousandths separating those 3 drivers. Actually, if you look at them, what is it, 5th down to 8th place, those 4 drivers are remarkably close together, 300ths separating the 4 of them. Is Ghost retiring? Has he hit the pit wall?
No, I think he just retired in the pit, so that might just be enough for qualifying. Obviously there's a 2-stop as Steban going over the curbs at the inside of Cops there. Just about keeps the car straight. I think just with the 2-stop, he might think to do a different strategy and sacrifice his qualifying a little bit, potentially. That's my fault there. The steep bank coming around, 1 at 2.4 is a very solid split time here. About half a second quicker than Kamke was, so I think he's got a chance to go P1 here at Alpine. So he gets through Stowe, 6th gear, just about keeps it valid. Using all of the track. And then into Phil, 3rd gear there, clip the apex on the left and on the right. Up to 4th, and now accelerating out of club corner. I think we're going to see a new pole time, and yes we do, 25.779. It's going to be the last run for Steven as well, because he's not going back to the pits, and he's also run basically out of fuel, he's low on fuel. So that's the only lap Steven's going to be doing this session.
But a pretty good lap to have, given it is the only one you've got left. Steven coming off a P2 last week. Actually, him and Mats, the 2 Alpines, managed a 2-3, so a double podium for them. How does the constructors work in LOE? I just realised I hadn't even considered that before. Is it per tier, or is it across all 3 tiers?
It's just across the tier, so it will just count for Steven and Mats here. As it goes for Recon coming across the line, slight improvements, gets himself ahead of his teammates. But yeah, it just works like with the normal F1. Reserves do not score points for the constructors. So, you know, it doesn't reward the driver that doesn't turn up to a race, and then the reserve does well, then, you know, they can't quite get rewarded in that sense. But yeah, that's normal, and the Alpines have definitely done a good job to start out with in the first race.
Yeah, well, Matt's currently P8. I think he is going around again. We just saw Swippert invalidated his lap, but he does have time for another one. Matt's in the first sector of his lap. It's kind of that last mad dash. Got to keep an eye on who is getting towards the line next. Ghost Recon is down on his lap time. I think he's done for quali, because he won't need the ERS to go for another push lap. As much as you might be tempted to try, and I do not believe we are going to see any improvement from the Aston Martin driver this time around. No, plus 2.8, so I think Ghost is out. He will not be improving this quali lap around his teammate though. Q heading towards the end of the first sector. We'll see what his split is like. Currently 1.2 behind the pole. He's found a 10th in the first sector. Got a nice clean track ahead of him as he comes around this long right-hander, Luffield, Woodcott. 2 corners. Oh no, he's invalidated, he's gone wide. He won't be improving. The Aston Martin's stuck 14th, 15th, and the only way they are going anywhere is down.
Yeah, that's not great qualifying for the Astons. Hopefully they can recover a little bit more in the race. Just everyone going around to start their final laps, and I'm just trying to find the next one on one, which might be one of the Williams. Mats actually get himself in the P3.
Flat.
Good lap.
Yeah, Bosnia starting his lap, as is Kamke. We've got one of the Ferraris. That's Energetic finishing his lap. Now it really is mad dash at the end, and I can never tell the difference between the dots for the Williams and the Alpines, so forgive me if I jump to the wrong car. But Flip next man to the line. I don't think he's improving. Certainly having a little moment there.
Yeah, that was just detrimental there, as James puts himself into P2 with a 25.8. Yeah, Axel gets himself into the top 10 with McLaren, which is MCR, across the line. And that's
to the front.
Yeah, great lap from the Spaniard, 25.6 there. One of the Red Bulls next up, which is Ryan B. He's in a good improvement here, 3 tenths up. Into P3 he goes. Yeah, second row. An all-British second row for the time being.
Jarv and Falcon both into the pits. We got Ultimate, the next man along. And then I think it'll be Herring, just 5 more drivers to go if I can count. So currently P18, plenty of time to gain. Last lap set on pretty old tyres here. What can he do? Round in the last corner. He's going to move it up. Only P17, still an improvement nonetheless. That is good news regardless.
Just Kamke. Just Kamke and maybe Energetics as well. So the American, can he put it on pole position this time out? Let's see, a bit wiggly after the final corner, but across the line into P2. Good lap from the American. Just about misses out though. Energetics across the line into P8, just ahead of his teammate. And that will conclude our qualifying session with MCR in pole position.
good way to start out the race. Right, let's see, what are the gaps between the drivers? So the top 13 drivers all within a second. Some very, very close gaps going on throughout the field. The top 5 distinguishing themselves ever so slightly, and MCR setting another good quali lap. I think he was another one of the strong ones last week. Set himself a P5 in terms of the race at the end of it. But yeah, looking to be another good race. Actually, do we know if there's going to be any rain? I didn't see any drivers complaining about rain.
Yeah, I think we would have seen something in the chat at this point, but you never know. This game likes to do a thing. I'm not sure if you're quite aware of it. But if in the pit lane, it will show you the symbols of whether it will rain, be dry, overcast, whatever, and then also show a percentage. You can ignore those symbols because they tend out to be completely wrong, and and the percentage is usually what actually gives away the amount of rain that you're going to get.
Yeah, actually, so, James saying dry race. So I'm going to do a quick run through of the quali order. So MCR, as we mentioned, on pole position on the front row. Alongside him, Cam K, last week's race winner, on that P2. Then Stephen Ryan B locking out the second row, with James Head and Mats following just behind there. Bosnia and Energetic 7th and 8th. Then Harry and Major Falcon finishing out the top 10. The other Greek driver P11. Axel, and then Flip P12. Ghost and Slayer 7th row, Ghost Recon, and Q15, 16. Then Jav, Ultimates, Swip, and Ibo finishing out the grid.
You notice that the bottom 6 basically looks like a realistic backmarker grid there, with 2 Aston Martins and Alfa Romeos and Haas's.
Wasn't bad enough
on a bad weekend.
If we imagine that Alonso wasn't driving, then yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Or his car might have not worked properly. You never know.
GP2 engine, yeah.
Potentially. We're looking into the race now. Looks very dry indeed, as the drivers are going to be picking their tyres. Now, I think strategy-wise, we're going to see a very interesting race. All tyre combination that I'd say are basically possible. There's not much difference between the tyres in terms of length, the lifespan, but also in terms of pace. I think between the softs and the hards there's around 6/10. And for that, we're seeing all 3 compounds have been selected as well throughout the grids, but the hards are the least popular, just energetics and PAs on them, and the rest is basically split between mediums and softs.
Yeah, I think it's almost 50-50 there. Obviously not completely. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, 8 drivers on the softs, 1 on the hards, and 11 on the mediums. So the mediums are the favourite tyre. The mediums are the tyre the pole sitters chose to use. And given Cam K's performance last week, I would not be surprised to see that man in the lead coming out the first few corners at the start of this race. As we've got a Ferrari way off in the grass. What is Harry doing? A little bit of lawn mowing. Looked like the grass was already fairly well kept, but I guess wanting to create a racing line off to the side to lay down a bit of rubber on the grass for future reference. Bit of an odd choice there, not sure what that was, why that was happening.
You never know. Could be. So, yeah, as AWS obviously doesn't know about our rules here in this league. It is indeed mandatory to stop here. Obviously, safety cars could play into this as well. If you got the chance, you can always try to use that to your advantage of maybe even, especially with this long pit lane, missing out on a pit stop, or at least surfing 2 is an option. So,
although
we'll have to see.
A dry Silverstone usually is not too safety car ridden.
That's true. There's not a lot of walls you can put it in, but
as Harry once again is off onto the grass, unless that is the other Ferrari of Energetic this time around. No, it was Harry again. Making sure to go
the 150 watts.
At least he's not hitting. He's doing a bit of slalom around the braking boards. At least he's not hitting them for the sake of the other drivers. Is this some meta strategy I'm missing here? Is this something about going on grass that's a good idea, or?
Not as much as I know.
Hang on, Energetic's in the pit lane. No, he's not in the pit lane. What are these Ferrari drivers doing? The Ferrari strategists making some strange calls today.
Well, that's gonna provide some interesting content for the race then, if they're gonna make similar decisions then. But, the car's just lining up, and should see the lights out pretty soon. As Steven is not putting himself in a favourable position here by disqualifying himself.
Yeah, Steven, he does have the outside line, which can be better for sweeping around, but gonna be starting on the colder tyres. So here we go. Let's pick a camera angle where we can actually see the lights. We'll hop to spectators. So 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are up. And away we go. The McLaren, a good start. Kamke is actually falling back a little bit, but he's starting to pull forward. And here we go, up the inside immediately for the driver on the soft tyres. Ryan B himself also having a challenge. The 2 Red Bulls, both off to a great start, both moving up the order. Stephen, of course, as expected, has fallen down a little bit. Some contact further down. I think I saw James Head going for a spin. The Alpine nearly into the back of Ryan B here. James Head, yeah, right the way down to P20, really has lost out. So some chaos further down the order, but didn't see any big amounts of damage. Just a car off into the grass. The top 4 separating themselves a little bit from the rest of the field as Mats goes for a move on Bosnia. Makes that work. Well, Energetic, he's on the hard tyres. He's still kind of looking for moves. He's feeling a little bit aggressive on this first lap here, but his job now is to just hold his position, make this stint count, and then probably double soft stint just afterwards.
Yeah, something like that. It could be double mediums as well. Sometimes there's not even an incentive to even use the softs. It's just kind of personal preference at this point. But the softs seem to be working for the Red Bulls here, as and the McLaren of MCR, they've both driven away from the pack. Already 1.4 down to the Alpines. I think Steven making a few mistakes and now having to concede that position to his teammate. With Energetics and Major Falcon side by side for P7 here. I think the Mercedes trying to get this move done on the mediums. Energetics with a very tight line, bit of contact on the exit. But Major Falcon gets that move done, and Energetics going to be under more pressure from Flip and Harry Noir.
Yeah, this pack very, very close together. Energetic, he did start P8, but of course gained a position due to James Head having that spin. Taking a very narrow line there as Major Falcon, playing very, very defensive here. Energetic, though, having to watch out. So we've got a yellow flag. That is for Q, I think. He's fell down a few positions. There's some overtakes happening all over the place. As we see, yeah, Flip getting past Energetic here. Just losing loads of ground on these hard tyres, and he's round. Energetic is he round? That was a bit of an odd one.
I think he just about kept it. There's more action here and there going on. It's one of the houses is right inside of the car, ghosting through. Speaking of ghosts, he's going through on Axel, his teammate at P10. I think there's a bit of a mess going on there. But Energetics, yeah, I think he has fun and then kind of kept it. But it's lost him a lot of ground now, and now he has James right behind him.
James now playing that little bit of a recovery drive, but he is on the soft tyres, so he's got the pace to try and work himself up through the order. Though a lead change is happening up front. MCR around the outside, our pole sitter trying to get that first place back. Can he hold off from the outside of Kamke? Yes, he can, round the outside of Stowe there. Beautifully done. And holds on to that P1. Back into the lead for him. And set in the fastest lap, although Matt's taken that away very quickly.
As well as Bosnia doing that right after, as all the gaps on our visor are gonna get suffice themselves. There's 2 cars around, I think a separate incident. Q and Ultimates going around to the final corner, and now way down as Ibo has picked up a time penalty. Yeah, those guys are gonna have some work to do from here.
Yeah, both drivers intact front wings, importantly for them. Well, of course, visually intact. There could be some damage that we can't see on the cars. Kamke getting back through on MCR. These 2 guys fighting for the lead quite happily here. Madeira, that is just going to increase. Ideally, these front few drivers want to try and pull away from the rest of the field, not fight amongst themselves too hard. I think Ryan B is content to just sit behind in that P3 for the moment. We've not seen too much aggression from him, other than the initial getting past Steven at the start of the race.
And goes UK, there's some action going on for P10 and 11, 12, 13. Ghost is behind the other Ghost now, as the McLaren Slayer is going very wide there onto the grass, as well as Axel.
Ooh, contact.
And Axel's
Axel
going
round.
out there, I think on the side of Ghost Recon there. And more action towards the front as well as MCR got back into the lead. A lot happening obviously with all the straight jab. Is now trying to get past Ghost 72 UK, running outside of So. Good move there from Jab, and he's up into P12. And then trying to make his way through on the rest of the grid. And now Ghost Recon is his next target. We see James already into the pits. Is that for a regular pit stop? Just trying to get out of the mess potentially. And have some clean air.
Yeah, I get the feeling it's just kind of hoping for a safety car and a bit of a reset. We'll see. Does he put on? He's going on to mediums. Is there a new front wing waiting for him? Nope. No, there's not. There's just a fresh set of mediums. Okay.
So that's a tactical call. I kind of get it. He's one of the quicker drivers, I reckon, and it probably has a lot more pace than he can drag out of the car right now behind all of these guys. As Go 72 UK is now getting back at Jaff, and he's back into P12. Spaniard's going to have to try again. He's low on ERS, so it's going to be quite difficult to do so.
Right, James there saying in the chat while he's in the pit stop, game put me on a used set of softs. So yeah, just going to struggle with them so much at the start. They lack that kind of edge. You've pushed them so hard in qualifying already.
And then having a spin early on as well, or at least a half spin of some sort. So yeah, those tires are not going to be fun to drive on anymore. Now he's got some clean air to try and make some time up. And get himself back maybe into towards the top 10.
Yeah, but here we go. Ghost Recon on the inside of Slayer. Can you make it stick? Is there excuse me, is there going to be a switchback? No, there is not. So Ghost Recon up into P10 for the Aston Martin. Tell you what.
Not quite sure you cut out there for a little bit.
Whoops.
Can happen. Seeing the top 7 still to get here. Flip is just falling off the train a slight bit, 2 seconds behind, and Harry Noirg is kind of on his own as well. Then we have this kind of battle for P10 all the way down to P15. Bit of splits, but obviously because it's Elfstone we are going to see certain DRS trains all over the place. I think he's looking quite impressive right now is Matt. He is all over the back of Ryan Bean, has been for the entire lap. I think he's going to try to make something happen pretty soon. ERS is enabled there. He's getting close to the Red Bull, but then towards Cops is a very risky place to try it, so he's going to back off for now.
Yeah, of course, it's all about if you can't get it down into Cops, then you stick behind, you get as close as you can, and focus on your exit out of Chapel. That's the corner down the back of the hangar straight. That's the one you've got to make count. And a big moment there by Ryan B. And Matt says yes, please, and thank you. As does his teammate actually Stephen getting himself up into P4. Alpine double overtake there by Ryan B.
Yeah, quite impressive that he still held as Ryan. It wasn't easy, and he's going to opt to go into the pits. Just not liking the softs right now. Difficult pit entry, by the way, as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few speeding penalties. It's just not really a reference point to break. Apart from if you have a race in line on, obviously. But I reckon we'll see Ryan B onto a set of mediums, and at least that's probably the most normal choice. Yeah, he does go into mediums, and he's going to be down into probably 18th place there. Gives a bit of a reference point where James is as well. Obviously with a bit of an undercut, but I think he's still quite a ways behind to try and make up as much ground as he probably wants to.
Yeah, Ryan now in clean air after that mistake. And of course, it is just you got a little bit of wiggle room for your strategy. If you're not feeling confident on the tyres, then get yourself on something different, make that work for you, build up that confidence back in that clean air, and then when it comes to battling later on, you'll be in your groove, you'll be ready to go, you'll be wanting to fight. You've been by yourself for so long, so this could pan out very well for him, on top of the fact it is going to be quite a large undercut that puts pressure on the other drivers. It's energetic, picking up 3 seconds of time penalties. He's down in P14 at the moment. It is
he had another spin himself, I think. Just put him back, so we're looking at Cam K trying to go for a move, but I think he's just wanting to stay behind for now. Bosnia is attempting one on Steban, but not quite able to have the grip around the outside, and it's going to be it for now. Slayer pass goes Recon towards Stowe as well.
Ooh, look at this. Nearly getting the cutback, but just avoids the contact, perhaps a little bit of wheel touch in there. Not quite enough grip there for Ghost Recon. So not able to hold on. That is interesting.
From the mediums, that's an early stop. Obviously, yeah, as you said, you have a bit of wiggle room, so you could kind of convert to a shorter one stop if you get the grasp of what I'm saying. Just have a few less laps, but do exactly that. And he's going to go into another set of mediums there. Curious where he goes on to at the end then, because with those same lengths, he's going to have to probably go for a set of hearts.
Yeah. Interesting choice. Harring currently... James, yeah, fastest lap for him down in P19. Harring doing pretty well, P7 on those grassy medium tyres. We saw him doing a bit of lawn mowing on. They were long way back. Those top 6, huge gap to the rest of the field. Now these top 3 all completely nose to tail. Which is
very close.
It's good news for Ryan B, because these guys fighting, as long as they're not just slingshotting past each other, but are actually fighting. So yeah, Cam K on the back. Look at that overspeed. Doesn't even need the ERS. Flies past up into the lead.
More yellows. See Ferrari off. That's energetics. Cam K has seen that, and he goes into the pits. Don't know if he meant to already. Slows all right way down to 60 km an hour, but obviously off the soft. So this is probably around the time you'd want to pit anyway. And I reckon we'll see a set of mediums for him as well. He might get jumped by Ryan B. To see Slayer in as well. Most drives off the softs now. Just Axel and Querfauer and Ibo just down there on the softs as well. As Kamike's gone onto another set of softs. I think he's only done 2 runs again, so this might benefit him. We'll have to see if this is the right call here.
Yeah, but here we go. Here's the important question: where is Kamike compared to Ryan B? We're expecting Ryan B to be slightly ahead. The question is, how far ahead is he gonna be? And there's the other Red Bull, and here goes Ryan B. He is ahead. He's only the car ahead, but he is ahead of his teammate. We'll have to get his tyres up to temperature as well. But Ryan B should make very quick work of Ibo here on these older soft tyres. Now very worn.
He will do that, I think. I think he's trying to catch him slipstream here. But I think if he just sends it down the inside, then yeah, that's not quite any issue there for the Britishman in the Red Bull. And his American teammate's going to come through as well, so he gets on the inside of Ibo there.
Yeah, look at that. He's already nearly a second down the road. The grip difference. There's the lead change I've just missed.
Yeah, Mats has come through on MCR. The pace been good, gaps closed, and both him and MCR into the pit. And Mats has gone too quick. And he's got a 5-second speeding pen there. And that's going to be a big blow to his chance of the race win here. MCR and Bosnia going cleanly because Recon did not. He's also got a 5-second. As I said, it's not an easy pit lane. You just want to take care of getting in. Seeing softs for Mats. We're seeing mediums for MCR. And for Bosnia, we're going to see, as Axel gets also 5-second penalty. Softs for Bosnia. Goes Recon also onto a set of mediums. So we're seeing the different options as Major Falcon is getting past Steban for the lead now as well. And bringing himself into it. A bit of a quiet one for the German so far, but he's now in the lead. So I think he's happy with that right now.
Yeah, so the 2 Red Bulls did swap position their last lap, and they are nearly 3 seconds up the road from Mats. Although Mats not in the best position given his 5-second penalty he's got to serve at some point. Of course, there's a safety car, he might be able to make it a bit more negligible. But for now, he's not in such a good place. If it's just green flags right the way to the end, he's got to build that gap, and building that gap when you got someone in your DRS is not an easy job at all. Especially if he's just been undercut.
Yeah, and as well the Red Bulls, I don't know if they will, but obviously Kamke could drag along Ryan B a little bit here and give himself a bit of protection. Obviously there's going to be fresher tyres for Mats and MCR, and Major Falcon also pitted, and also on the 5 seconds. Steban kept himself clean going into the pits, but yeah, we're seeing these drivers struggle with the pit entry, and it's not helping them whatsoever.
Yeah, it's slower at Silverstone. It's only 37 instead of 15 miles an hour, if my memory is serving me correctly. Which just makes it even worse. I mean, it might be that you managed to hit 50 mile an hour, completely forgetting that it's less.
Maybe. seen another split of strategies there. Major Falcon onto another set of mediums. Steven onto a set of softs. He's gonna have the best tires on the grid so far. Both Williams are together as well, trying to probably catch back up to this, but these guys are gonna come out right near the Williams cars. Steven just ahead there, Major Falcon ahead of that. And bringing themselves back into a bit of a train here.
Yeah, and I think these guys on the warmer tyres, especially Bosnia on the fresh, soft tyres, they're going to be quicker for a few corners. How long will that last? Weaving down the straight goes Major Falcon to the left, to the right, back to the racing line, which is legal, I will point out, but only just so. One more swerve and it would not have been. Here we go. Steven, he's on the back, he wants to get past. You can see him just closing, but it's the wrong part of the track. Very, very tricky to go for a move here. Oh, hang on, no, he's gone a bit deep.
Himself on the curb there.
Oh, so does Flip.
So does Flip, and Bosnia's going to go through on him.
Letting his teammate
maybe
through.
Flip not wanting to fight in that either.
Yeah, certainly looked a very deliberate lift from Flip. You don't break that early, even as a kind of a noob driver like myself. You still don't break that early.
It's MCR gone past the mats, and Kamke has now reached Swip and Jav here. Swip gone into the pits though, and also a 5-second penalty. Jav is going to lead for his split second just about here. But I think, because MCR gets the fastest lap, Kamke just want to get past as quick as he can. Then towards turn 3 is a good opportunity.
He's not
going to wait it out. No, he's waiting it out. He doesn't really have to, but it'd be nice to get it done.
Yeah, no, he's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, Jav just not having the tyre grip whatsoever. Sliding over the place, catching Kamke out. Hope he didn't get any damage from that. That's going to put Ryan B back up into the lead. And he's down the inside there. And I think Jav is going to be alongside Kamke now once again. Kamke to the outside. Very wide there. He's going to have to get the better exit here as compared to the Spaniard. Using his ERS. It's just Ryan B for this point. And Kamke is going to have to fight a little bit harder.
Yes, I think what happened there was Jav was trying to move out the way of Kamke, but Kamke was trying to go around Jav, and that essentially meant that Jav moved one way, Kamke moved the same way, and just ended up going into the back, losing that momentum. Look at that grip difference. Jav left in the dust, Ryan B given the wrong car slipstream. Hang on, there's a McLaren there. MCR's looking to the outside as well, the 2x2.
He's caught up in all of this, and this whole train is basically back together. Kamke to the inside, a bit nearly 3 wide. MCR backs just about out of that, but he really wanted to. Ryan B is back into the lead now as he kept the inside there, and Jav is into the pits. This makes for a 7-car train here, all the way down to Major Falcon, with Steven setting the fastest lap on the fresh softs. Bosnia has some work to do to catch now, but look at how close this top 3, 4, 5 is.
Yeah, absolutely mental. I mean, especially the top 5, but even the other 2 aren't that far behind. And all the fighting.
Mats nearly hit the back, or a little bit of contact, I think, between Mats and MCR into turn 4. I don't think too much, but that was going to be it. Kamke down the inside once again. He's going to fight Ryan B, and this time he's through quite easily. MCR trying to benefit off it. Running outside of left field, surely not.
I think he has.
He's going to have it. Has he done that? That's absolutely amazing, but he's going to have Kamke right ahead of him now. Is he going to go for it?
Ryan B, oh my goodness, nose to tail completely, almost like one car, just 3 cars long. They all make it through alive.
I feel like I'm watching NASCAR.
Didn't know F1 did bump drafting, but here we go, first time for everything.
And MCR has not got any ERS anymore. You can see the red flashing light on the back of the car of the McLaren there. And I think Ryan B at least will know that, and the cars behind as well. Seen both Alpine side by side, but MCR is going to take the lead here, with Kamke trying to get involved in this as well, on the inside of Ryan B. Mats as well. This is way too close for good measure. Bosnia down the inside of Steban, I think. Steban has gone over the curb, not sure what happened to him. But there's been some sort of contact or something, because that didn't look quite natural.
Yeah, and I think actually all this battling for the guys at front has allowed Flip to join the back of Steban and Falcon. Almost an 8-car train. In fact, no, it is an 8-car train. Especially those top 3 drivers, so close.
If this keeps on going, and James pits on time, he could probably undercut himself back in towards the top as Energetics is now retired, and we have a safety car, so that whole talk I was just given kind of nullified there. And yeah, everyone's going to be probably allowed their last stop now, because you do not want to stay out at this point.
Yeah, no one getting into the pits a lap early. Ibo just missing out.
I've just realised. There's people with 5-second time penalties ahead of their teammates. I'm looking at the Alpines here. T-Man's going to have a long wait in the pits.
Depending on how nice his teammate is.
Lap. Yeah. Yeah, it could be that Matt's gifted up, but obviously, normally the Red Bulls, they're going to double stack. The Williams cars are going to double stack.
Yeah, Mercedes.
The Merc cars slightly. Yeah, James won't be that much affected, but a little bit.
Well, he's got 5 seconds.
Yeah, that as well. So I think there's a few drives that are going to have some sort of disadvantage, but you're going to get caught by, well, you're going to be stuck behind the safety car, which means everyone can catch up, so you can't really stay out either.
Yeah, 5 drivers.
Yeah, everyone's
with that
going to
5
go
seconds. Yeah, I mean, you'd be silly not to. But
yeah, that's a major
foul. Hello. I mean, kudos him. It's allowed. It's legal.
2. Yeah, it is legal. It was a dangerous one, but I think he got it off just finely there.
I saw no contact. I just saw inspiration from a certain German driver.
Yeah, and you see this double stacking is going to create a whole different.
Here we go. See,
order.
Stephen, he stopped, and there's a 5 seconds.
The one I'm more concerned about is MCR's gone on to softs. For that's a long time. I think we're seeing Jav stay out here on a fresh set of softs. A lot of mediums being put on, a few hards. Over 13 laps, I think the hards might actually be the better tire. So a few laps on the safety car. Are we close? This could be very interesting end of the race. Jav put himself in P3 basically here.
Yeah, I mean, smart move by him. How many stops has he done so far? He's just done the 1 stop, but he was one of the latest to pit. I think it was the right move by him.
You kind of put yourself there. Potentially, you know, if there's another safety car right after, then you could have an advantage. Because you do have track position and you can get your last stop off fresher tires. It's a possibility, but yeah, the soft call for MCR is an interesting one.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that point. Also, something to point out, the double stacks, those 5-second penalties that were had by their teammates, Stephen and James down to P12 and P14. That hurts to see. Because it wasn't even their penalty. They served their teammates' penalty, essentially. Especially Stephen.
Yeah, they've all been dropped. People like Bosnia, Flip, Harnoir, they've all benefited massively of this.
Yeah, actually, I assume you saw that it was at the end of the Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel where he'd had that crash, presumably just either getting on the grass or getting on the power too soon and dropping it into the wall. The wall is, it's one of the closer parts on this track, but it's still fairly far away from the circuit.
I think it might be an overcorrection that he's done. I think his dot, at least on the track map, was on the left-hand side, so I'm pretty sure he overcorrected, maybe on the grass, maybe just losing the grip throughout the corner. But he ended up on the left-hand side wall, and yeah, that's race over for Energetics. Not the way he would have wanted to start his season, especially not being out there last time out. So it's going to be 0 points on the board for the Ferrari here today. So I think Ibo has gone into pit, Jav as well.
Interesting.
I guess it was worth maybe trying it out, but I think any other track there might be more of a chance for it. But because this pit lane is nearly 30 seconds in terms of time loss. It might just be the right call to pit again. I'm seeing softs again for Jav. Yeah, soft there. I think soft for Ibo as well.
Yep.
Guess you could try something different from the back.
Oh, I was thinking of something and I've forgotten it. What was it? Some factor or other I was going to mention. I'm completely blanking on what it is.
Happens often enough to the best of us, innit?
Well, what I can say is we're going to have 11 laps of green flag racing, assuming it all goes well at the end of this. Oh, I've remembered what it was going to be. I was going to ask you if you've ever been to Silverstone.
I've not. I would love to go, but I've seen the ticket prices, and they're not cheap.
Well, yeah, certainly for the F1. I've never been to the F1 here, but I've been to plenty of other events at Silverstone, and it is one of the best tracks from a spectator point of view. Especially if you go to if you go to one of these events where it's kind of like any of the grandstands are open, you can literally just wander around all day, and there are some of the grandstands you can see over half of the track all at once. Especially those ones to the left of Maggots Beckett's. You can see down the hangar straight. You can't quite see as far as Cops, but you can nearly see that. You can see over the fence to that run down to the start line. Also that run down after the start line, and down the Wellington straight a bit. So it's an amazing track from a spectator's point of view. And actually just as good for racing, isn't it? I mean, the racing we've seen so far today has been absolutely incredible. So we're about to get, there we go, about to get that safety car in, this lap notification, MCR to lead us away on the soft tyres. You're going to have the advantage at that restart. Though come the end of this 11 lap stint on those softs, he is going to be hurting. He needs to pull away before DRS kicks in, while he still has the tyre advantage. Want to hope the guys behind kind of get left fighting, scrapping so much that he can escape in these next 2 laps. Means it's crucial to get the best getaway possible.
Oh, there he goes. Caught him off guard, I think, a little bit. At least down towards Bosnia. And I think Mats as well. Yeah, it's going to create a few gaps here. I think it's a smart move by MCR. And he's going to have his tyres more up to temperature than the others. The softs are just working better at a lower temperature window. And yeah, he's already got a 1.1 second gap to Kamke. So I think he's done the right job here. He's done it very well. If he wants to make these softs work, this is the way to go.
It's exactly what he needed to do. It is the way to make the softs work, as you were saying. If he's going to make them last to the end, that's what he needed to do, and that is what he has done immediately. Now just needs to not push them too hard, keep that gap just over 1 second. Perhaps gradually eking it out, but not pushing too hard, as we've had Swip and Axel have had problems further back. I don't know if that's the same incident.
I think it was, looking at the track map. I think Swip went round first, potentially, or he was in a battle with Ultimate, and after that, I think somehow collected Axel, maybe? I'm not too sure, though. It could be something different. We'll have to see after the race, but yeah, them two not having the greatest of restarts then.
Yeah, Stephen, he is on the comeback after that double stack. He's currently sitting P10, sitting on the back of Slay's McLaren. Is James getting overtaken by Ghost Recon behind, but let's see. Better entry through the corner, allowing a fast exit. Is it enough? He's burning a bit of ERS. It's Ultimate's got himself some penalty, but here we go, Stephen on the inside, and this should be nice, clean, and easily done. Same tyres, but the man has shown more pace today and moves himself up into P9.
Yeah, good move there from Steven. There's a little bit of a gap to close then towards Harnoir. I'm confident that he's got the capability. Meanwhile, we have a fast lap by MCR. 28.2 is a very solid lap on the softs this point in the race. We're going to have to see if he can carry those softs to the end. Harnoir is looking for a move down the inside of Flip, but gets caught in the red curb. And no, but I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but those red curbs are absolutely lethal around here. You do not want to actually touch them. Flip, I think, touched one on the inside there of turn 4 at least. Didn't get the exit right. And he's going to be under pressure once again down towards Brooklands. I think Harnoir is giving him a little bit of a hurry up. And wants to catch back towards the top 6.
Yeah, well, it was Silverstone that had, I can't remember if it was F2 or F3, but essentially one car got launched into another car. I think it was F2 and just hit the cockpit side on. Luckily, the halo was there.
I think it was Roy Nassani who clattered the curb on the Ville chicane. But yeah, they sent you absolutely flying. Obviously, not quite as much the F2 cars, but because these cars are a little bit bigger, so they can handle a little bit more. But then still never nice to drive on. We've seen Harnoir now go for the move again to the outside of Stowe, but doesn't seem to have straight line speed to quite match up to the Williams here. Maybe on the exit down towards Ville, but he's not close enough, so he's going to have to wait it out a little bit longer.
Now, I think choosing not to burn ERS was just an interesting decision, because I think it makes sense to burn it to get through, to get past the guys in hard tyres and join this group from Kamke down to Matt. They're the guys who'll drag you up the order. They're the group you want to be with when they hunt down MCR later on, when his soft tyres are hurting and screaming. At the moment these guys are scrapping away. 2.2 seconds between first and second place. Music to the ears of MCR, but of course he knows that is going to change later on. He's just got to build all the gap again now without hurting his tyres too much, without taking too much off them. It's actually further down, P16, Jav up the inside of Ultimate. I will learn to say his name correctly one day, but there we go, the Haas man up into P15, into the points. Albeit just 1 point is better than nothing.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a little bit of a gap to bridge now as well to the next train. But that's quite remaining intact. Obviously with the DRS, it's pretty difficult to catch. If you're sitting behind on the straight, and you see the car ahead of you just pulling away 410s every time you go onto the hangar straight. It's not quite ideal. Seeing Bosnia making work of his mediums here and put himself into P2 here. Let's see if he's able to catch MCR. Ryan B is wanting to get involved in this as well. After bunching up a little bit. That's going to help MCR build a gap. Steven has got past Mark. We've seen an incident
two cars involved,
between
Ghost
the Ghosts.
and Ghost and Ghost. Didn't see that one coming. There's actually Ghost with a very illegal pit entry there and actually picking up 3 seconds warnings for that. What is he doing? I suspect we were about to see Ghost UK retire from the race. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. I'm guessing there was an incident between the two of them. Yeah. Don't know exactly what happened, obviously, but that didn't look natural to be out in that position on the racing track. We're gonna have to see if it goes where he can salvage a point here. He's currently still in that 15th spot, but not looking great for him. Looking a bit up ahead back towards this fight for P2. It's still remaining very close, and I think MCR is liking it that way. How long are those softs holding up though is the question. The mediums obviously not. I said it earlier, the lifespan of the tyres isn't too far apart in terms of pace anyway. So I don't know if these softs will drop off that much more than the mediums that these guys will catch back up. We'll have to see. Kamke
using the grass a little bit there, but he is past Bosnia. Ryan B on the outside looking to go round as well, and you know what? He has made it work. Bosnia overtaken by both Red Bulls in just one straight there, and Mats himself also having a little look. Not quite enough to go for it, but enough to remind him just because you've been passed twice doesn't mean it won't happen again.
Yeah, Mats also obviously the further you're up in this train, the more chance you're going to have at a good position towards the end. The first two are always easy to swap, but beyond that it's pretty difficult. As Mats is trying to get that one done, just about has the gap close to them. Yeah, you want to be in at least the first three, if not the first two, because everyone behind is just going to have DRS on each other, which means you just kind of left in the same position. It's very difficult to overtake or get overtaken.
Yeah, but of course, with the case of Major Falcon at the back of this train, if he can hold on those last 2 laps, his tyres are going to be the best, they're going to be the strongest. So all he's got to do, if he can't make moves now due to his tyres, even due to his race pace, he can acknowledge, I'm just going to save my ERS for the end, I'm going to wait, I'm going to pounce those last couple of laps when my tyres are in a stronger position, even with the DRS working against me. Everyone else will be screwing away and making those small mistakes. That's when he's got to go for it.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Now Matt is trying to get this 4th position of Bosnia using the ERS to try and go for it, but I think Bosnia is doing the same to try and hold on to the position and succeeds in that aspect for now. So we have swap for P7, Steven getting past Flip, Slayer getting past Harry Arc further back as well. There's for P7 and P9 those swaps. Jav getting past Ultimate here.
Oh, hello. Overtake not completed just yet though.
Yeah, he's sending it back up the inside to Finn. Gets caught on the curb though, and that's going to allow Jav to hold on for now at least. But it's not quite over yet. I think these two will keep on fighting for the time being. And yeah, obviously Jav with a penalty less currently is in a better position, but you never know if someone else picks up, or Jav picks up another penalty in that case, and it's all even. Stevens here. Flip getting back past Seaban now. DRS tries after each other, helping with that. James around the outside of Harnow Arc for Brooklands. Going to be close in the entry of left field. A little bit of contact, not too much though. Mercedes trying to hold on the inside here. Hardenmark squeezed on towards the curb. That's all good and fair. Now down towards Cops. Who's going to get the better of these two? The inside is for the Mercedes. This time holding that, I think just about. Gets a bit caught on the curb, but gets it completed. Bosnia's gone through Ryan B, who I think made a mistake looking at the gap.
Yeah,
And
he's Matt's barging his way through there. But does in the end, both cars staying on the track. And Matt's doing another wiggle.
Ryan B again.
Looking to the inside. Matt's going to hold it around the outside. He's going to try. He's going to succeed. There we go. Matt's showing some good aggression there and holding on to P4. Almost slightly these two risking dropping off Bosnia and Cam K. But Ryan B does seem to be struggling with this fight a little bit. Bosnia and Matt's just showing they've got more from the car at the moment.
Kierfauer has gone off coming through club corner. Wasn't a fight of hard work. Don't know if there was a contact or not, but he's down in 15th now behind his teammate, and Axel not too far back either. So he's going to have to fight to keep in the points. A few penalties ahead he might benefit from though. Try and get his first points on his official debut, I'd like to say, in the League of Europe. So it's not the greatest way to start off, obviously, but still points on for him at the time being. Meanwhile, the further these laps go away, the more MCR is thinking this could be possible. 2.6 is the gap still, 4.5 laps to go. And I think there's a good chance he holds on at least, but are the tires going to hold on? Do they have the tire lifespan to complete this all the way down towards lap 26 and not risk a puncture?
Yeah, he's got this lap plus 4 more to follow, and at the moment he looks like he's got the time, but of course once the drivers hit that cliff they really do just drop off. Matt's on the outside of Bosnia. Now can he make this work? I think Bosnia looked quite confident there, but no, Matt's once again has made it round the outside. He seems to like that corner.
Yeah, I think Kamke should be aware of going for that corner, maybe defend the outside for once. We'll have to see though. He might be happy letting him through. Kamke's got a little bit more ERS than his peers around him, so he might benefit from that. Come the last couple laps, we're heading into the final phase now. Steban looking for a move still on Flip. Still fighting it out of the way. James not too far back either, so I think he might be able to get involved. And a little bit of a fight for P7. Meanwhile, Major Falcon is dropping off the back of the top group. He just doesn't seem to have the pace to keep up with these guys.
Yeah, as actually that gap between first and second was up to 3.1 at one point. So MCR does not seem to be dropping off just yet. He does definitely seem to have equal pace to these guys, if not more pace. Well, in your opinion, you're the better driver here. When is it going to start being likely that that time starts coming down? When do the soft tyres get older, have more wear?
I think it can't be far from now, but it might just be in time enough for him to hold on to that gap, bar he makes any mistakes, obviously. Mats is now looking to get into P2 here, the Alpine. Running outside here before Stowe this time, and he's made his way up into P2, the other Alpine getting overtaken by Flip. But yeah, I think this is a time where the mediums are not in their best condition either. Mats makes a little bit of a mistake on the braking there, going to cost these guys a little bit more time again. And MCR is looking happy at that gap, I think, right now. I think MCR, this is looking very good for him.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, 3 seconds to work with. I mean, Mats is shown to be the fastest from this group. He's now worked his way through them. Can he close down that 3 seconds? Or is it just too much to bridge? We'll see over these next 3 laps. Yeah, look, you can see him way off in the distance there. That is a long, long way to catch up.
Yeah, especially in about 2 laps and 2 sectors. It's going to be very difficult. I think it's maybe more of a case whether the softs actually just hold up in terms of not getting a puncture at this point for MCR. Just bring it home at this point. Can afford to lose a little bit of time here and there. Not too much, but a little bit off your maximum pace, especially if he's on a couple of warnings, then you don't want to risk getting that penalty either.
Right, excuse me, silently yawning there, and as I do that, Steven is under threat from behind. James Head right behind them. Both of these guys slightly on a recovery drive here. which isn't necessarily such good news for Flip, although Flip himself isn't a slow driver. I mean, there's a lot of fast guys here. You aren't right at the front there, not at the sharp end of the field. And here we go, 2 laps to go now as MCR crosses the line. 2.9 seconds to work with. This is looking better and better for the McLaren driver, and this is after a P5 last week, so improvement nonetheless. Matt's the current P2 coming off P3 last week, and Camke, the current P3 coming off a win last week. So there's a lot of these guys being consistent week in, week out. Stephen struggling a little bit, of course, but we know that's not really his fault. That is the double stack just hurting him so badly here.
Yeah, he's been in a fortunate position here, and yeah, it's just gonna cost him a little bit today. He's still looking for a solid result, so it's not like he's getting away with no points, although if he's getting more snaps like that, he's gonna have to be careful there. I've seen a little bit of a drop in pace for MCR, but I don't think that's the end of the world here. 2.4 seconds is now the gap. Matt and Camke are going to be very close down towards Stowe here, I think. The Red Bull trying the benefit of it. With a 6 gear there, it's interesting choice, and doesn't get the best exit there.
Did run himself a little bit deep yet. I mean, it's looking better and better for the Spaniard in the lead. MCR just seems to have it this race. Last week, it was Camke who just seemed better, like slightly better everywhere. This week, it does seem to be MCR this last stint. Of course, you couldn't really tell earlier on in the race, but now it is just MCR making the right strategy call and executing it beautifully with that safety car restart, and then just putting away, doing exactly what he needed to do, laying down the lap times, setting himself that safety cushion up, and most importantly, not getting himself a 3-second time penalty for cutting the track, because that would be a devastating way to end his potential win here.
Yeah, I have to say that safety car restart has probably just gained him the race win, because otherwise he would not get away. Camke though is trying to make it P2 here for him. The American down the inside of the Dutchman, side by side. Matt's getting a bit of run out of Brooklands and down towards left field to go side by side for here. Matt's trying to close that gap a little bit, and he succeeds in doing that. Camke getting very loose in the rear end. That's going to hurt his chances here. Got more ERS though, so down towards Stowe. I think we're still going to see an attempt here. Ryan B as well, close to Bosnia, so we're going to have to keep an eye on this all. MCR going very careful for here, I think, because the gap is majorly down. The tyres may have dropped fully at this point. It's going to be close though. I think Matt and Camke anyway. Major Falcon gets a 3-second time penalty. You see Camke down the inside, seeing contact there. Might have been a bit of lag involved, I'm not too sure. Two of them side by side. Camke getting out ahead. Matt's still trying. He's trying, but he's not quite managing to.
And behind as well, Bosnia and Ryan B. 4P4 will hop on board. MCR round the final bend. He wins in the end. Camke P2, Matt's P3, Ryan B in the end does come out on top as Bosnia crosses the line over the gravel there. Stephen P6. Flip getting that 7th place. Slayer with a penalty. Saharin P8. Then James, there's some drivers just, I don't know what's going on here, but there's some flying front wings.
Falcon. Major Falcon, yeah, he's gone into the pits. I'm not sure what happened to him.
He's retired.
No, he crossed the line, which would be in P11.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
So he will be, yeah.
Well,
that's a weird one.
Is Silverstone one of the ones we're allowed to finish on the, what was it? Some of the tracks you can't finish on the, in the pit lane. Well, I can't remember exactly what it is, but something like that. Anyway, Ghost, one of 3 drivers yet to come around the track. So here we go, in nice clean air there, a long way back. Well, uncertain if he gets points or not, but showing P15 after Falcon's last second going into the pits and retirement. Swip then coming around. And with fastest lap, hey, how about that?
Yeah. He's not going to get the point for it, but he at least...
he stops anyone else getting the point.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for MCR, because he had the point before that. Yeah,
what a race.
Great race, continuous action. As Silverstone likes to bring, but MCR... With that strategy call, I doubted him, but he's proven me wrong here, and taking home a win for the McLaren here. I think he'll be very happy after losing out on his podium after the Stewart's reports last week. I think with this win he's redeemed himself. He's got himself out in front. Just going to check if your game works in this regard. I remember it not doing that last time.
As of yet, I can't see the results screen, so if you can, then please start reading away.
I will read away. MCR obviously taking the race win ahead of Camke and equals Matt in P3.
I want to keep reading.
Ryan B in 4th, just nabbing off that position from Bosnia. Seems to be some action on the last chicane there. Steban, after that unfortunate bit of pit drama almost, he's redeemed himself back up to 6th place, I guess. Flip in P7, solid result there, as well as Harry Nork and Slayer with James Head running at the top 10. Kierbauer is in P11. I reckon Major Falco will get put into P11 just because he was there when he finished and completed most of the race anyway. So Kierbauer is in P11. I'll say P12 here. Jaff P13, then Axel and Ultimate Mr. Puro running at the points paying position here. Of course, Recon outside the points, Swift getting a fastest lap, but not the point for it. Ibo in 18th with Toshike and Energetics DNFing. In the end, 18 finish is still here, if we're counting Major Falcon, so it's not too bad altogether.
Yeah, not bad. I do not know if you saw, but Ghost Falcon has just decided he's leaving. Sorry, Ghost UK has decided he's leaving LOE after that.
Well, that's an interesting predicament. I don't know.
He said not being competitive and too many issues, may join again on next game, maybe. But yeah, a shame to see. But I mean, don't let that sour the just amazing race we had. I mean, it was so competitive. The fights we had up front in that penultimate stint, the P2 fights we had that last stint, especially Cam K and Matt, so aggressive, fighting away up there, scrapping. Just, I mean, the perfect balance of aggression versus sportsmanship. I don't think they pushed each other too hard. There were a little bit of questionable moves, but all in all, it did seem to be good, clean racing. The two of them talking about how fun it was at the end there. So, provisional standings. Next thing I want to get to try and work out. I believe it would be Camke who is riding up top after a P1 followed by a P2, putting him provisionally on 55 points. I don't know if you've got a spreadsheet. I'm just doing this in my head.
Yeah, 55 points. It will be for Camke if I'm looking at this right now. Matt is going to be on 42, and MCR I think is going to be on. He's going to be on 47 with the pole position point as well added onto it. So he's going to be very happy with that. I think that'll be the top 3 here, with Steban not too far behind either with his 6th place, which I think results in 14 points. So
yeah,
he'll be on 39. Yeah, so that'll be our top 4, who definitely scored good points in both races here.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see actually it is the same names coming back near the top. And amongst those 4 drivers, Matt's the only man on wheel, the rest of them all on pad. So it seems in Division 3, pad is the superior method of driving. But yeah, I mean, what a race. Next week we are Netherlands, a track I'm sure you know well.
I do know well. I have been there actually. Not for F1, but for I think it was some GT race that I was watching anyway. There's a few different classes going on. It was quite fun. So yeah, it will be interesting to see. I think a bit less action maybe. It was a bit more difficult of track to overtake at. But I think regardless, it can still be a very exciting race. So.
Yeah, more likely to be a safety car than Silverstone with its kind of large fields. Almost hard to find a ball at times, even if you were looking for one. But unless you've got anything to say, I think I will close up the stream until next week at Zandvoort.
Yeah, just congratulations to the podium finish.
Yeah, well, actually, I guess kind of forgot to say that, but yeah, well done MCR on that win, beautifully called at the end. And then Cam K and Matt's for finishing off the podium. But from us, that is goodbye until next week at Zandvoort. Actually, no, scrap that. I won't be here next week.
Right, it'll be me taking it up.
I've got a taekwondo competition to be at, so while I may possibly be back home, I will not at all be in the mood to commentate, as I will be shattered, bruised, and beaten.
That's all fair and square, and I'll be taking it through. Maybe featuring someone else, maybe not. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, right. Well, then see me in 2 weeks. See Verstappen in 1 week, but buy it from us.